PvPs can be very chaotic and very aggressive, but at the same time, European PvP has a bit of a reputation of being a little bit more by the book and a little bit more standard. We'll see how true that really is. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the French Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ShaDoWn. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Protoss, the Red Protoss player, representing his old clan altar. It is PtitDrogo. And as we settle into this, a big shout out to Control in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. God, papi God. Big shout out to Control. Control, of course, is a South Korean Terran player. Did this year, I believe, wrap up his military service and has recently come back to streaming, come back to producing content for StarCraft. So thank you. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. Annyeong haseyo. Gracias, papi. Gracias. Do appreciate it. Yo. As we are settling into our PvP, and I promise we'll have some Terran gameplay soon. Control, I promise. I believe after this series, we're going to be covering Clem versus Lambo. So we'll have a Terran versus Zerg for you. For now, our probes are going to be moving out. We do have a 2-gate opener from ShaDoWn, a 2-gate opener from Drogo as well. Everything is looking as it should. Ooh, except for this probe. Hello? We are going to be committing here to a proxy pylon. Now, we'll see if we actually throw down some tech alongside this. The probe is staying in the vicinity. So this pylon is very suspect as the probe is coming back to it. Gases have been taken. This probe scout of Drogo does confirm that the pylon is missing. We don't know where it is, but we know it's not in the main. And we are going for a 1-base all-in ShaDoWn, committing to a proxy robo. Let's go. And talking about the players very quickly, I just realized ShaDoWn is a little bit more of an unknown. He's very active, of course, for the Platinum Heroes, very active in the online tournament scene, in World Team League as well. I would say that ShaDoWn this year especially has cemented himself as one of the, as a pretty solid Protoss player in Europe. He's in the middle of the pack, is what I will say. Still in the shadow of players like Skillus, like Showtime, MaxPax. I would even put Geralt there as well. I would say that ShaDoWn is still one step below Geralt, but still has been achieving quite a lot this year, and I think I may even favor him against Drogo in current era. Like Drogo, oh my god, as he does come across the proxy, he fanned out his units, he does scout the robo, and he will be shutting this down. Ay. Oh, as I say that though, Stalkers are coming in. We do distract, we do drag Drogo away, and it looks like this Immortal is going to pop out. Phew. Oh my god. ShaDoWn will keep this alive, and Drogo is going to have to back off. Behind this, going for our own defensive gateway and defensive robo. ShaDoWn respecting this quite a bit. Drogo respecting this quite a bit, but ShaDoWn is pushing in. Shield battery finishes. The sentries finish up just in time as well. Drogo going for a counterattack. And things are about to get a little bit rowdy here because ShaDoWn doesn't have much to defend. He's forced to recall. Yeah, recalls all the way back home. Doesn't lose anything. Will pick off a Stalker. But Drogo, he buys so much breathing room. And ShaDoWn is expanding. He's pivoting away from this all-in. Going for the Prism. And hopefully doesn't come across the Stalkers as the Prism gets caught out. Oh! And it looks like the Prism will go down as well. Big pickoff. Not the freest of trades. Did end up losing 2 Stalkers in the process, but the Prism was huge, and now we're going to be able to depower this robo as well. Or at least we're going to try to. Just barely force fielding in time. Can try to take a fight here. We'll be losing a sentry. The Immortal on the other side of the force field. A little bit misplaced by Drogo. He was hoping to force field the Immortal away. Alas, has to back off. Drogo, meanwhile, hasn't seen the expansion. Uh-oh. He's not aware that ShaDoWn is transitioning Now going for his own expansion. Getting a lot of hits in on this Immortal. And it looks like the Immortal is going to be going down. A big pickup. I love that ShaDoWn, he has a probe hidden. It hasn't been seen. Oh, now it has. But it is hidden here in the tall grass. But alas, will not be able to repower that Robo. Gets caught out. So Drogo was able to trade well, this is true, but ShaDoWn has a better economy. He's got his natural base up and running, getting it saturated. Meanwhile, Drogo, he's the one that's committed. Is moving out with quite a hefty army. He's got an Immortal. I'm loving these Adepts. The Adepts, of course, they can bypass the main army and shade into a mineral line. ShaDoWn is on the back foot. Good force fields. Trade energy for a Stalker. The Adepts have arrived. ShaDoWn in position to wall off. He will wall off in time. Adepts threatening a shade into the natural. And from here, we're in a really interesting position. I think I want to favor ShaDoWn. I mean, especially with Blink in production. Like, Blink is going to be a big moment for him once that does finish up. Can take control of the map. Meanwhile, Drogo, sure, he won't have a maneuverable army, but he will have Immortals. So it's going to be a really interesting dynamic here between our players, where Drogo has a very robust army with a heavy Immortal count. ShaDoWn will have a more flexible army with more Stalkers with Blink. Meanwhile, Drogo already investing in +1 melee or +1 attack. ShaDoWn, no Forge yet inside, instead opting to go for a faster third. ShaDoWn already has a better economy and is looking to extend that economic lead with that faster Nexus. Server gets caught out. Drogo takes the third. ShaDoWn wants to make sure that the third is being taken, or if there's a 2-base all incoming. So Hallucination is sent out. And he should be able to get a read on what his opponent is up to. Full scatter. Again, getting eyes on the third base. We still haven't pulled the trigger yet from Drogo. He still has his Prism chilling outside the bases with Adepts. And essentially, Drogo should be waiting for the moment that ShaDoWn moves out. The moment his army moves out, then the Prism can move in. ShaDoWn is now working on +1 attack. Twilight Council on the way from Drogo. Now, because Blink is so delayed, usually we skip Blink and we go straight to Charge alongside Archon production. We'll see if that's going to be the case here from Drogo. As we already have Charge well underway here for ShaDoWn. You can see ShaDoWn enjoying a 7-worker lead. Hallucination does confirm that. Even going for a 4th base as well. Oh my god. ShaDoWn once again just always on top of that economy. And it is going to be a little bit cheeky here, slipping into a Dark Shrine. Meanwhile, we spoke about Charge from Drogo. Again, he's just skipping Blink, going to Charge. There's that Temple Archives as well to start Archon production. And when it comes to the quality of the army, I think I still have to favor Drogo. Like the Immortals, they shut down Stalkers so hard. We're getting to faster Archons. And not just that, but the +2 timing. That's what I'm really basing this off. Like, +2 is very far ahead for Drogo. There's going to be a big window where he can have +2 over his opponent, and he can also have +3 over his opponent as well. These are going to be some pretty big power spikes for Drogo. Meanwhile, the Adepts, they finally move in. Oh, and they get a couple of probe kills. They get 4. Oh, soon to be 5, 6. 7? 8? I mean, 7 is already more than enough already here. For 2 Adepts, very nice trades here from Drogo. We'll lose them, but 7 worker kills is insane. And Earlier, ShaDoWn had a pretty hefty worker lead. Suddenly, Drogo is catching up. Now, it goes to show Drogo he's still down 2 probes. It does go to show how far ahead ShaDoWn was and how necessary that adept damage was from our red Protoss play. Despite that, ShaDoWn still has the supply lead. He's moving out with a Stalker-based army. Blink is on the way for his Dark Templar. We still have that War Prism in between the bases, so at any moment we could try to go in with another big Warp in. And we're going for the 4th base. We should force a cancel. Drogo out of position. Yeah, busy dealing with some Zealot harass. That next is going to be cancelled. Prism still chilling in between the bases. Jesus, we have not stopped Immortal production. Oh my god. This is maybe too much. We have 7 Immortals. I feel like 4 is like the ideal, but the problem with going up to 7 is that it should be okay against ShaDoWn. I was going to say that usually at this stage of the game, the opposing Protoss player is going to be incorporating more Zealots into their army, less so Blink Stalkers. But ShaDoWn is still pretty hefty, or pretty heavily reliant on these Blink Stalkers, so this army from Drogo is still looking quite strong. Still looking powerful. Likewise, ShaDoWn, despite getting a Temple Archives and despite getting a Dark Shrine, hasn't invested into Archons, which means the Zealots of Drogo are going to be that much more effective without Archons to deal with them. And we're going straight to Disruptors. That is going to be a Robotics Bay on the way. I would have expected this from Drogo, to cut Immortal production a little bit earlier and get into a faster Bay and a faster second Robo. I'm a little bit surprised that Drogo didn't go in that direction. That's a lot of Stalkers. And what's scary here is that this is where Disruptors would be ideal. Basically, Blink Stalkers, obviously they can avoid Novas, that is true, but ideally you want to be using Novas to force out Blinks from your opposing player, to zone away the army, to make things difficult and uncomfortable for the Blink Stalker heavy player, and that's just not here. Likewise, Disruptors are going to be beautiful here for ShaDoWn because Drogo can't really avoid any Novas. If a Nova gets sent out, Drogo has to take it to the face. Ooh, the Prism will fall. But yeah, like this army is so clunky and so slow that avoiding Purification Novas is going to be nigh on impossible. And ShaDoWn has got his first Disruptor in production. They're going to be rotating over towards the left-hand side. Here we go. ShaDoWn has maxed out. Let's pick up a couple of Zealots. For another way in. Here we go. We have a good angle of attack here. The Immortals pushing on forward. We do have the overcharge. Force field's looking pretty damn good, but here comes the first Disruptor. And as soon as we see it, we will back off. Do we have detection? Nova goes off. Big connection here on the Immortals. Despite that, those Dark Templar are going ham, by the way. There is no detection. The DTs, they're swiping away. They're getting on top of the army as well, and they're doing so much here. They clean up almost every single Immortal. The Stalkers help as well. GG gets called, and ShaDoWn takes a dominant fight, taking game number 1. GG. That was unfortunate for Drogo. Pushing into an army wasn't a bad engage initially for Drogo, but that was like, what, 6 or 7 Dark Templar just swiping away for free, papi. There was no detection. They were going uncontested, and the DPS of that many DTs, that ramps up very quickly. Very quickly it does ramp up. And Drogo, he lost everything there. And with that, ShaDoWn takes the lead. Let's go. Again, ShaDoWn, one of the stronger, now that I think about it, one of the stronger Protoss players in France. I think I would say DNS is probably number 1, and number 2 is maybe in contention between ShaDoWn and Drogo. Like, that's what I'm also excited about this series, is it feels like kind of the new guard against the old guard. Like, ShaDoWn is more of a recent rising star, and Drogo a little bit more in his twilight years, after having a lot of success a couple of years ago, nowadays kind of taking a step back, you know, enjoying StarCraft more in the pastime instead. And yeah, we'll see where this takes us. We'll see where we go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Hecate, we have the blue French Protoss player. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is ShaDoWn. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss representing his team, Alter, his whole clan. It is PtitDrogo. Drogo down in the series, looking to tie it up, looking to force that ace match. And that last game was very chaotic. There was a lot going on. Remember, it all started with ShaDoWn having a bit of a failed proxy robo. He initially was all in and he had to pivot away from it, but he was able to get away with a faster natural, a faster third, a faster fourth. That game, economically, ShaDoWn was ahead for almost the entirety of that game, once he did decide to pivot away from his robo-based all in. So again, just a better economy, just a better economy behind his army to sustain himself, and ShaDoWn was able to take that first game. Drogo, unfortunately, was pretty all-in and pretty committed with how he was playing and his attack. His fourth was delayed time and time again, and it's kind of all or nothing there for Drogo. As ShaDoWn, for a second game in a row, is going to be throwing down a proxy pylon. This time, though, the pylon is on ShaDoWn's half of the map, so it looks like this is going to be a fake pylon. As ShaDoWn does leave it, and he's going to be scouting the edges of the map. Drogo will, of course, scout and confirm that the pylon is missing, so this is where mind games come into play. Drogo may be tricked and may be lured into believing it's going to be an all-in again, or a proxy. So we'll see how he does open up. As for now, double adept. It is going to be a double adept opener from both players, from both ShaDoWn and Drogo. With this, should be pretty aggressive, and Drogo hasn't taken the bait. He's barely even scouting. Yeah, he sticks around, throws down the pylon, calling his opponent's bluff. Not really biting. We can see ShaDoWn trying to avoid that pylon with the adepts, trying to keep them hidden. And Drogo is pushing. And Drogo's actually committing here. It isn't just a double adept opener from our red Protoss. We have a third and fourth adept on the way as well. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn is just transitioning into stalkers, expanding. Likewise, so is Drogo. But because we're committing into adept production, essentially Drogo, he desperately is looking for economic damage. And he gets in! No! He shades into the main base. ShaDoWn a little bit slow to react. Doesn't wall off in time, and probes are going down, and we're going to get damage done. So many probes going to be falling. 4 dead workers, and lost mine time as well. Can we get a 5th? We can. 5 worker kills at the same time. We have 1 adept getting in from ShaDoWn. Nowhere near as effective. Does get a probe. But only 1. As he is cleaned up. Drogo not able to shade in for a second time, but Drogo already has a worker lead. Has a perfectly fine worker lead at this point. He still has 3 adepts to threaten a shade once again, moving out this time with his stalkers. Drogo does have some momentum on his side. And we'll see if ShaDoWn can fight back. Does come into the shade. Gonna be running into the army. Oh. Taking a lot of damage, and we do catch these adepts. And big pickups here from Drogo, taking down 2 of them. And he can keep on pushing. ShaDoWn is going to be walling off here on the high ground. Does wall off in time. Behind. Great minds think alike. Both players going for Dark Templar. Let's go. DT is going to be on the way. This is going to get kind of weird. So, at the moment, no one has detection. And Drogo won't have any anytime soon because he's investing into Blink. Oh, there we go. Robo's on the way. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn doesn't have any yet. Now the question becomes, will we get detection out in time? Drogo does have a proxy pylon out of the map. Probe gets caught. Oh, ShaDoWn, his nearest pylon is here out in the center. And Robo now on the way, but it's very late here for ShaDoWn, which means Dark Templar are going to hit first. Oh boy, the Invisible Man, they're coming, and the Invisible Men, they were the MVPs of Game 1. Remember, Game 1, ShaDoWn used them to great effect in that fight. And it looks like they're going to be the MVPs here for Drogo, as they're going to be waddling on in. And the Robo is still halfway done for ShaDoWn. Oh no, he sees, he knows. Immediately he's walling off. He is going to be a whole position here on top of the ramp. Does not allow those DTs in. But they wreak havoc at the natural base. And probes are falling, probes are dying, and there's just nothing to do. Like, there's no way to deal with this. They're going for the pylon. No shot. They can go for the pylons. They can go for the kill on the Robo. And again, without observers, that's going to be game. We get in. No, we do wall off just in time. We do manage to wall off. GG gets called. It's just too much damage. And Drogo will tie up the series 1-1. GG. It's all about those Dark Templar. It's all about those the Invisible Man, Poppy. Both games, they've really been the deciding factor here for both players. And really, all that means is that here in Game 3, obviously, both players have to go DT first, right? No. I mean, a proxy Twilight Council and a proxy Dark Shrine is a build in PvP. That is a thing. No one would be crazy enough to do that here, though, right? I hope not. I don't think it's going to work if they try, but we'll see. I mean, it's becoming a trend. As we're getting into the ace match and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have the French Protoss player. The red Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes, it is ShaDoWn. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the other French Protoss, the blue Protoss player representing his old clan altar, it is PtitDrogo. 2 units at the end of the game, that does happen. That is a thing that happens in PvP. We've seen Max Packs die to 2 DTs. We've seen Hero die to 2 Dark Templar. Like, unfortunately, the reality is that in PvP, there are scenarios where you can rush into a Dark Shrine and your opponent straight up won't have detection. Like, that is just a scenario that occurs from time to time. Thankfully, it's not, like, too frequent. Like, I think we saw Max Packs die to it earlier this year, like in March or something. Like, Heroes died to it, I want to say around like July-ish. Like, it's every now and then it happens. It's an unfortunate reality of PvP, but thankfully not the most common of occurrences, thankfully. Oh, hello. Hello. Once again, both players going to be mining out these mineral patches here on the right-hand side of the map, and it looks like we should be going for some proxies. My, oh my. Okay, so ShaDoWn is going for a fake proxy pylon. So is... What is happening? Now, to be fair, it is very common to actually mine out these minerals and go for proxies on Alcyone, but both players, they have the same, playstyle here. Very curious. We shouldn't be committing with this. It's just a fake pylon, and the probes, they're just scouring the map here, looking for any kind of committed proxy as well. Behind this, 2 gate openers from ShaDoWn as well as Drogo. Everything is looking normal. Drogo going to be going Adept Stalker, ShaDoWn going Double Stalker. Nothing too crazy. Essentially, ShaDoWn is going to have a more robust army here in the early game. We'll have less scouting information. Drogo, his goal with this Adept is just to shade across the map and try to get a read on what his opponent is up to, as he is going for a Stargate opener in the main. Meanwhile, Drogo coming in with the probe does confirm the Double Stalker. Likewise, ShaDoWn, he was scouting the northern portion of the map. Still hasn't committed to a scout yet. Now, something important to bear in mind is that Drogo is delaying his expansion in favor of the Stargate, so a bit of a less economic opener here. With the Stargate, he should be going for an Oracle, should be looking for some economic damage, as the Adept Scout does confirm the timing of the expansion, which is the green light for Drogo to expand himself. So the natural bases are pretty comparable to each other. That doesn't quite commit. And we can see our tech of choice from ShaDoWn. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener. It is going to be Blink. So ShaDoWn's working towards Blink. That Oracle is on the way. Drogo will have delayed Blink instead. And there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on this Oracle to get damage done. Just because Drogo, I mean, again, he's investing in tech, investing his gas here and resources in these units that need to pay for themselves. Otherwise, ShaDoWn will just be ahead or take a lead. Again, his Stalkers patrolling all around his bases here, just not allowing Drogo to find a way in without encountering at least some Stalkers. Here we go, the Oracle does reveal itself. ShaDoWn now, of course, aware of the Stargate opener. Getting in position. We have 3 Oracles in the main, 3 Oracles at the natural. Adepts will throw in the shade. They do get 1 probe. But only 1 worker. Oh. So we get a couple of probe kills here in the natural. So not too bad actually, 3 probes, and the Oracle is still alive. So it's a good way to, again, make this opener worth Drogo's while. Worth his while in the end. Meanwhile, Blink actually isn't that far ahead. ShaDoWn, it looks like he did delay his Blink by a little bit, and Drogo has been able to catch up. It also looks like maybe we haven't been chronoing out that Blink, of course, from ShaDoWn. The Stalkers are distracted. Oh, the Oracle comes in from behind. Getting another 4 probe kills, 7 in total. ShaDoWn just out of position once again, another probe going down. And it's only 1 Oracle as well. It's not like we committed into double Oracle production. No, only 1. It has been worth it here for Drogo. Both players going to be expanding, taking their 3rd bases. Drogo taking a slight worker lead. And now the Blink Stalkers are moving out. Meanwhile, Drogo likewise meeting up with his main army as well. Looking at the units tab. Both players on 10 Stalkers. Drogo with the concave with the high ground. Is going to take a better fight. Who even punishes this, goes for the dive. Trading 2 for 2. Looking for a 3rd Stalker as well. Oh, getting so much damage done to these Stalkers of ShaDoWn. He will escape, but as he gets distracted, once again the Oracle goes in. Drogo just pulling ShaDoWn apart. And sure, he may not be able to break this 3rd base, but that's another 5 dead workers at the natural, and so much lost buying time here. 7! And we could have gotten more if only we had a little bit more energy here on this Oracle. But that Oracle on its own has 13 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. Again, Drogo going to be in a commanding position. He does have a 10 worker lead. Getting into charge, +1. For a moment there, he started +1 air attack, and I was a little bit perplexed, but thankfully, we get away from that. we're not going to be committing. And yeah, Drogo just getting further ahead. He's ahead in the economy, ahead in the upgrades. ShaDoWn just now working on his forge. There is going to be a window where Drogo has +1 over his opponent. There's going to be a window where he has +2. These upgrades are going to be big power spikes for our blue Protoss player. And Drogo even just investing into his 4th base as well. We don't even need a 4th right now, but why not just invest? Why not just take it? Now, the one advantage that ShaDoWn has is Immortal production. He has 1 Immortal, to be fair, though. Like, doesn't have too many. It does help. It does help make up for a bit of a Stalker deficit and an upgrade deficit. The other thing to bear in mind is that even if you are behind here in a mirror matchup in PvP, there are other ways to come back. Big ones, of course. I mean, we've been seeing them all series. The Invisible Man, you know, the Dark Templar could come into play. Rushing into Disruptors, you know, a faster robotics bay. It's a bit of a Hail Mary play, but 1 or 2 good Novas can sway a fight in your favor, even if you're down in supply. Outside of that, out-positioning your opponents, not just when it comes to Oracle Harass, but also with your Blink Stalkers. That is a very maneuverable army. You could try to, again, slip by your opponent's forces, get into a mineral line, dive into the main base, get some worker kills, and then recall back home. Because of the recall ability, there are opportunities here for your opponents or a Protoss player to be aggressive and get away scot-free. Unfortunately, ShaDoWn has been stuck at home. He's been stuck at home this entire time, and Drogo is still maintaining map control. He has control of the Zonaga, is pushing out. I don't think he can break ShaDoWn yet, so Drogo has to be careful not to overextend. He has +1, but +2 is still on the way. Okay, he's going to be reinforcing. ShaDoWn getting in position. Another shield battery is on the way at his natural. Overcharge going to be another big factor as well when it comes to a defensive fight for ShaDoWn. Charge is done though. The quality of the army here from Drogo is just becoming a bit too much. Essentially, charge lots, they do a great job at buffering. They take so many stalker hits to the face. They do a great job at just supporting the army of a Drogo. He dives into the Immortal. The Immortal goes down instantly. We do have the overcharge, but it's a numbers game, and it looks like Drogo just has too much. He's overwhelming the army here at the third base. The overcharge gets focused down. There is no shield battery. And Drogo, he's just gone for the kill move, gone for the throats, and winning on both fronts, breaking the third base and breaking the natural as well. GG gets called, and Drogo will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. And yeah, despite the chaotic series here in game number 3, Drogo was able to flex his multitasking, flex his speed as well, just pulling ShaDoWn apart. The Oracle was kind of the MVP there, especially in a mirror matchup. Getting ahead by something like 5 workers doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have the same tools as your opponent, when you're playing the same race, 5 workers can mean the world. It can be the game. And it was more than that. I think it was a 10 worker lead for Drogo, just because that Oracle harass, and yeah, was able to just capitalize on that and snowball out of control. And with that, GG, well played. Congratulations to Drogo as he does take the series. The old guard, of course, retaining his position here over ShaDoWn. I do want to believe, though, that ShaDoWn, again, as he's more of an up-and-comer, has potential to grow more as a player, especially recently, has been putting in a lot of work, has been very active. He's been streaming a lot as well, which has been really cool to see. ShaDoWn has been active on Twitch. But for now, Drogo does, of course, take it. And we are getting ready for our final series before the break. We're reaching that halfway point, that halfway mark. Up next, we're taking a bit of a break from the Protoss. We have a TVZ between Clem and Lambo. Let's go. I'm ready for it.